rather, and here is my Q&A with, I believe this is Wendell Green talking to me afterwards.
Guys, congrats on the win. What was the post-game message from Coach moving forward?
Just get ready for a good team on Saturday. We know we got to come out, we got to play good, take care of the ball, and just execute and guard the ball. Same as always, we just want to win and keep getting better.
Yeah, and mostly important, get our rest because we got an early game Saturday.
An early game, high noon, coming up on Saturday. Also had a chance to talk with Bruce Pearl last night and today. Here is both of those Q&As. Going to start with my question to Coach Pearl from last night.
Coach, congrats on the win. Total of 9 players that scored, and I think 6 in double figures. How well is this team playing, you think, overall heading into Kentucky?
Well, I thought we played well in the first half, and we got better in the first half. Second half, we didn't play very well. Look, we got to step up in a huge way for Kentucky. I think it's one of the best teams John's had in years. They've got size at the rim. They're tremendous in transition. He's given them great freedom this year. He's got wings that can really shoot the basketball, and that's been a staple of his best teams. And he got 2 dynamic point guards, and Wheeler and Washington. So, I mean, it'll be a clash of the Titans, that's for sure. There'll be a lot of great players on the court on Saturday, and CBS will be in the house.
He said that with a big old Cheshire cat grin on his face as well because of what this means for the program there for Auburn. And then today, I mean, let's be honest, there are quite a few teams that are angling to get into the tournament in March, but Auburn is not one of them.
Today, I can't help but ask, with as big of a game that this is on Saturday, how much does a regular season game with this type of atmosphere help you to get you ready for March?
I mean, it'll help because this will be our most challenging opponent. This will be the best team that we played. When we played LSU, they were down one of their better players. But this will be the best team we played, Kentucky. So that'll ultimately be the kind of teams that you're playing come NCAA tournament time. And so from that standpoint, it's good preparation. But this one is more about playing for championships because there is a regular season championship at stake, and the outcome of this game will have something to say about it.
I get that. I understand that. I totally get that answer. I really do. But in the grand scheme of things, you are remembered for March. And with the amount of talent that the Auburn basketball team does have, it does lend me to believe that when you've got a Lamborghini, and that's exactly what Bruce Pearl has, you're fine-tuning that Lamborghini to get it ready and get it humming in March for the SEC basketball tournament and certainly for the NCAA tournament. Speaking of the tournament, it was a big one last night down in T-Town as Alabama really needed that one last night and helped out by a certain technical foul by a certain coach. Oh, I didn't cue it up. That's a demerit on me. If you have not heard Will Wade talking with Ron Higgins, I'm going to try to cue that up here momentarily. But I texted Ron about his little back and forth with Will Wade. But here is what Nate Oates had to say about not starting Javon Quinterly. In fact, JQ was first man off the bench like he was last year and really responded rather well for the Crimson Tide.
He came to see me. I mean, we hadn't been playing well as a team. We individual players hadn't been playing well. I had meetings with everybody in rotation and some other guys that weren't in the rotation between last game and this one. And when he came to see me, I basically said, what can I do to help you? I felt bad. I think he's been trying to play hard. been trying to play the right way. He's been giving us great effort. And he said he talked to his parents and talked about it and brought it up. Like, maybe we go back, because I said he may have been the best guard in the country last year for a stretch there at the end of the year. I mean, he was cooking. He got tournament MVP. When he did all that coming off the bench. So some guys are more well suited to come off the bench. Maybe there's a little less pressure, they could see how the game goes. And we had, I think, 3 times 6th man of the year up at Buffalo when I coached up there. We brought one of our best players, if not our best player, off the bench up there. So, there's either he's going against their starting point guard that's a little fatigued, or he's going against their backup point guard if he comes off the bench. He brought it up to me. He played well. Let's go ahead and do it. I thought, let's try to get him going. Thought maybe it'd help JD get some confidence, put him, maybe give them both a little boost. And thought he played well off the bench. Thought he came in and made some really good plays, great decisions. He looked better tonight. So JD's back's been bothering him. We got to get him playing a little bit better. But I mean, Quinley didn't shoot it great from 3, but he was better than him. Thought he played better, more explosive, getting the ball downhill against their switches. I thought he looked a lot better tonight.
2 of 7, to be specific, there from beyond the arc there for Javon Quinterly. But I think a little more eyebrows raising is the fact that Alabama was 0 of 15 from beyond the arc in the second half and still managed to win that basketball game. And Will Wade, afterwards, if you have not heard this, it is definitely worth me stalling right here to cue it up for you in the Q&A afterwards with the LSU head men's basketball coach. We're about 10 minutes away from talking a little Titans action as they welcome in the Cincinnati Bengals. And Dave McGinnis from Titans Radio is going to join us. And I am doing this on the fly. And I think it's around this neighborhood.
Also, just the way your team came back after being 13 down, obviously you got the technical. It looked like it was pinned on the backboard. Didn't call it.
You think it looked like that, Ron? You think?
Yeah.
It was pinned on the backboard. It didn't look like it. It was.
And just the way your team responded after the technical. You learn?
I told our guys, I got the technical because I got to have their back. We can't keep having this happen. At some point, I got to stand up and have their back. And so I had their back, and those guys had my back. Come back fighting like that. That's what it's about. As a coach, you have your kids' back, and the kids have your back. Our men have our back. That's what it's about. I'm proud as hell of them. I got to stand up for them. We can't just sit down and keep taking.
There you go. There is Will Wade. A little back and forth with Ron Higgins. That's now 4 in a row for the Crimson Tide over LSU. Philip Love here with us from Eagle Insulation. How about that right there?
I love hearing that guy whine and complain.
Or the chance of FBI afterwards.
Exactly. I think he needs to go make some more strong offers.
Yeah. I did tweet out, well, thank goodness they've got G League salaries down there in Baton Rouge. How are things at Eagle Insulation?
Good, man.
Eagle Masonry.
There you go. Thank you for that plug there. Good. Just busy. It's getting busy after the holidays. Everybody's picking up. Builders picking up. People calling, needing insulation. Nice cold front coming through here, freezing everybody. I think this is the warmest I've been all day sitting in here.
Feels pretty good here at Baumhauer's.
It does. It's nice. Smells good. Feels good. Yeah,
yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, anytime there is that type of weather change, I immediately think about you guys and about saving people money.
Absolutely, yeah. It's daily ritual for me when it gets cold like this. Go around seeing who's got frost on the roof, who doesn't.
Yep.
Neighbors. I always check my own house, make sure I've got some frost on there so the heat's staying in. So yeah, it's brutal working in this. These guys that do this for a living for us, it's amazing how brutal this weather can be. I don't know how guys stand it. And I noticed walking this morning. I noticed a couple houses where the windows were frosted over from people's heat getting out. So yeah, windows and attic insulation, biggest thing you do to kind of keep your utility bill down and keep your house comfortable.
Well, and with as many people that are moving into this area, I would imagine business is booming in your woods.
Yes, it's busy. I mean, it's something I was thinking about when I was coming on here today. I needed to try to slide in a way to say, hey, if you're looking for a job, please give us a call. We could use the help. My guys are, they're working 6, some of them 7 days a week right now, just so busy. So if you need a good job, we've got great benefits, pay very well. I believe we pay the best of any of our competitors. So give us a call, and we'd love to have you come join the team.
Probably the easiest way, insulatewitheagle.com.
That's right. Yeah, you can go there, and there's a place on there where you can send a message, use the quote. If you want to use the thing for the free quote, use that and just say, hey, interested in a job, here's my number. We'll give you a call. You can call the main office, 256-755-1556. I'll sit down with you tomorrow. That's how, we need a driver's license, a heartbeat, and a good work ethic, and we'll take you from there and help you take care of your family.
Well, I mean, it's just as simple as that. But I mean, I don't know about you, but I was thinking about firing up the fire pit tonight.
Excellent.
And I know that is something else that you guys do, and
absolutely,
we've utilized that fire pit quite frequently here in the month of January.
Great, yeah, it's a great way to just hang out with your family, have your friends over, your children's friends over, sit by a fire, teach them how to build a fire. Good life skills there. But yeah, it's great. We have a couple I call them artists, guys that are masons that are just, beautiful. We're doing an archway in somebody's house today. I went and took a look at that. It's a house built in the 70s and able to match the brick pretty closely. It's going to look great. And we're very fortunate. We got some great masons that are, like I said, true artists. So we can help you with anything: outdoor kitchen, inside archway. Like I said, you're kind of doing some remodeling. We've gotten a lot of remodeling going on from just business. This is the 4th house on this one street that we've gotten in the last month. So I think there's a lot of people, that are doing that, and so we can help you do something in there.
Well, I will tell you, my neighbor's house is selling, and I had someone looking at the fire pit today asked me who built the fire pit, so you may be getting a phone call.
I appreciate it. That's great. Yeah, it's there's a lot of action on your street. Yeah, there's some new construction going on over there, some other stuff. It's busy over there. So absolutely, yeah, we'd love to take care of them. Anybody, just give us a call.
What's up, partner?
Still getting over the games last night. Watching the Alabama LSU game was like watching paint dry.
Did you get stuck in traffic on the way over here?
Yeah, it's bad.
Busy. It's so busy.
I know it. It is bad. So you've been doing the installation?
Just a little bit, yeah. Just a little bit. Good timing, yeah.
This is repeat. Yeah,
your poor listeners don't want another 5 minutes of that. I'm sure they want to hear some sports stuff. The plugs have already been done, Wes. Let's just talk about sports. Yeah.
So what about those Auburn Tigers?
How about them? I was telling Steve,
Steve's over here now. Sorry to interrupt you, but Steve's over here telling how good they are. That's a very bad sign.
I know. I don't like it. I was telling him I'm an Auburn fan, so I got a little pessimist in me, just a little bit, and I'm afraid they're peaking too early. But boy, it's the most fun I've had watching a team. I'm looking forward to going down to the Alabama game with you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Hopefully,
to go.
We get the same results we did in T-Town.
Well, that's February 1st, right?
But yeah, it's interesting. I was telling Steve, I've got your former intern's got her first track meet in college on Saturday, so I am missing the Kentucky game on Saturday. I'm sad.
Where are you going to Western Kentucky?
No, it's in Nashville, actually. They're playing at Vanderbilt, so or their track meets at Vanderbilt. So, yeah, but put my tickets up and got 2/3 of the season price.
Really?
In one game. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I had a friend whose daughters go to school down there. She was at the game last night, went 5 hours before the game to get in the student section, got standing room only. Couldn't even get a seat in the student section, 5 hours before tip. I think they're going to be camping out tomorrow night.
Well, that'll be so. What's exciting is how good the whole SEC is, really.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, there's something wrong with Alabama. You watch them, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
They're not playing the same as they did last year. Even I know they lost a lot, but the people. I mean, they were 0 for 15 the second half.
Yeah.
and then missed, 5 or 6 free throws in a row?
Yeah.
And I mean, against Auburn, I think they shot 87% or something from the free throw line, so they can shoot them. I was talking to somebody today, and I think that it's the one and done issue. You know, I think Auburn and Alabama are going to end up like Calipari's been, where you've got these great players, you got 1 year with them, and you've got to somehow get them to play as a team, and that's what Alabama's struggling with right now. There's talent all up and down that bench. They're just
but
you got to learn.
These guys played last year and played together.
Right.
Yeah.
They're missing 3 guys.
You put in new pieces, and there's just so much. There's only one basketball.
There is. And something is amiss. So I can't remember what the SEC Network guy said last night, but I thought he was spot on. And basically saying he picked them to have a chance to win the national championship. And he says he still thinks there's a chance. I don't, but he does. And he said that they're not playing with the same amount of heart as they played with last year. And that's that complacency thing we always talk about.
Yep.
That's what happened to LSU, They lost a lot of people, and it's going to be interesting to see what Georgia, how they handle it. Getting to the mountaintop is hard. Staying on the mountaintop is almost impossible.
Well, I mean, does Nate have anybody in that complex that could maybe coach him through that process? You think there's somebody in the building that might be able to help him?
There could be. He needs to start talking to somebody though.
Potential point guard.
I didn't hear after the game what he said.
Yeah. I'll play a little bit more of that here in a little bit.
But he has to be frustrated.
Appreciate you listening on the way over.
I mean, it's good to win. Yeah, I'm busy.
Well, I know you're busy.
I figured you only got one station in your car.
No.
He's usually talking to people.
Yeah, I'm on the phone continuously.
He's not listening to anything. He's talking to people.
Yeah, I'm on the phone continuously.
So, appreciate you coming by.
Thanks for having me, guys. And,
thanks for your long-term sponsorship. And you do such a good job. And, I don't know how many people that we've referred to you, but I know that 99% of them are happy as can be, and the other 1% you're not going to make happy.
That's right. So, that's right.
But
I owe one of your good listeners a price. Big complex we worked on for him last week. I got to get him something tonight, so thanks for reminding me of that.
Yeah.
InsulatewithEagle.com is the website. We do need to take our first time out. Dave McGinnis from Titans Radio joins us next. Talk a little Titans Bengals on the other side.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
When I chose the garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-Sparky.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Playoff season is upon us as we welcome you back here to Baumhauer's Victory Grill. The 1 seeds will suit it up this weekend, being the Green Bay Packers and the Tennessee Titans, as Coach Dave McGinnis is kind enough to join us on loan from Titans Radio. Coach, a very successful season despite some injuries. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I mean, this Titans team has been a model of perseverance through this season, having played 91 players, which is a National Football League record. I mean, I've coached in this league for 31 years, and I can't even imagine, how they were able to maneuver that and work through it. But here they are, and this is why you're in it. I mean, this is a division game, and it's big. It's a divisional playoff game here in Nashville. I mean, you could feel it here in the air. I mean, there's a lot of energy going around Nashville right now.
So, it's not just that you played 91 players and then you win the division, which is incredible, but it's some of the one players, right? Like Derrick Henry, that you lose in week 8 or 9, and that's just to be able to still win without some of your best players and leaders of the team. It says a lot about the coaching staff, really.
Well, it does. It says a lot about the locker room, and it says a lot about the personnel department, people they brought in to be able to fortify what we needed. I mean, it's really an amazing stat, that Mike Keith gave me the other day when we were doing a broadcast. Out of the 1,300 snaps we've had this year on offense, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and A.J. Brown have played together 120 snaps. That's it.
And they weren't 100% in those snaps.
No, they were not. And so it's just the fact that they weren't on the field, that long together. So this is the team that everyone envisioned when we went to training camp, because the offensive line now has completed 2 games of being able to finish it with the same 5 guys. And so, I mean, I go to Mike Keith and I get to go to practice every day, and it was a lot of fun just to see everybody out there practicing today for really the first time since training camp.
That's amazing to kind of wrap my head around. And on deck are those Bengals, and everybody seems to be climbing aboard the Joe Burrow train, Coach.
Well, I mean, it's warranted. I mean, when I get ready for a broadcast, I study tape and break down tape just like I did when I was coaching in this league. And it's legit. Look, they've got Zach Taylor has got a very good, young, explosive offense, and they've built that team up there, each side of the ball a different way. They've built this offense with young draft picks, and they've built the defense, through free agency. And so the combination of it, they've got a very, very good football team. And it's not just Joe Burrow. It's those guys that he's spinning it to, down the field. And it's also, they've got a very capable and a really dangerous tight end, Joe Mixon at the running back. So the offense is legit. And you can see, and plus you can see that Zach Taylor, if you study the games that they played this year, as the season unfolded, he started putting more and more into Joe Burrow's hands, and so they're clicking pretty good offensively. This is a huge challenge. Of course, once you get in the playoffs, guys, you guys know you're not playing. There's no bad teams you're playing.
Not at all. Jamar Chase, I know, one of those weapons, and we saw a little bit of that combination a couple of years ago down at LSU, and seems to be translating quite well up on the senior league.
Yeah, they had missed a beat since that LSU national championship go that they had together. I mean, they are going. And Jamar Chase is a dangerous dude. Not only because he can take it over your head, but even if they start getting the ball out of their hands quick, when people start to put pressure on him, he's an instant catch and go guy, as you guys well know. He's a great yards after catch guy. So this offense didn't put up these numbers just by chance. They put up these numbers because they're legit.
The thing about Jamar Chase is against Alabama, they never covered him. And guess who was covering him? Trevon Diggs, who made the Pro Bowl this year. So, I mean, it's like I haven't seen many people be able to cover him.
Well, it's a challenge one-on-one, and what you have to do, I mean, this is a team game, and so you have to be able, not only by design, and you have to be able not only by being able to disguise coverages. The thing you're going to have to be able to do in the secondary is they're going to complete passes. You've got to spot tackle. You can't let them have those yards after catch. And then especially, guys, you can't let the ball go over your head. I coached defense for a long time in this league on a lot of good teams, and we always used to say the ball travels further and faster through the air than it does on the ground. And if you let it go over your head, there's one guy getting beat and 10 guys that don't get to play. So we can't let those explosive plays happen.
Talking with Coach Dave McGinnis right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Can you give us a health update on Derrick Henry? How's he looking in practice, Coach?
Well, he's progressing. I mean, they're going the proper procedure on him. He hadn't been activated yet, but they started that window on him as to being able to come back. And so, I mean, they've done it. Of course, they do this with all of them, and they've had plenty of practice this year with their injured players, but they're on a program and a process bringing them back. But, I mean, the excitement for Derrick Henry's possible return is pretty palpable here in Nashville. I promise you that.
Yes, indeed. We can hear it all the way down here in Huntsville, honestly, Coach. Another kid that is from these neck of the woods is Kari Blasingame. What kind of role has he played on this team this year?
Well, he's been a very valuable piece, when he's been able to be in there, because what he can do, he's not only, he's in there on third downs a lot for two reasons. First of all, really smart, understands how to identify pressures, how to identify who he's got to block, but he also can play, the fullback from a true fullback position, and he also can play like that H tight end where he can move and block. I mean, he's a very versatile player, and he's been a nice piece of this football team.
Progression-wise, what have you seen out of Ryan Tannehill from your perspective, Coach?
Well, he's done nothing but win since he's been the starting quarterback, ever since Mike Vrabel made that switch from Mariota to him in that third quarter of that Denver game. All he's done is win, and what he is, he's a fantastic leader, for this football team. He's a really accomplished athlete. People really, I think everybody understands what kind of athlete this guy is, but your quarterback has got to be that dude, and sometimes he can. The best of them I've ever been around, they're able to be that guy without telling everybody they're that guy. He's the ultimate competitor, and he's exactly what this team needs. he fits the identity of this team perfectly as a quarterback.
Defensively, we got to know the name Jeffrey Simmons quite well down here in SEC country, and seeing what he's doing up there on the NFL level, I know it was maybe surprising a few people, but if you saw what he did at Mississippi State, it doesn't surprise me a whole lot. But how much has Jeffrey Simmons impressed you, Coach?
No, I mean, look, this guy, I can remember when, vetting him, when we do all our draft stuff, and I asked John Robinson, how about the kid at Mississippi State? And he said, I love him. And then, of course, he had the knee injury, and they still, he got him in the they went and got him in the 19th pick, and he's been nothing but superior. He came back and played early on that thing. I mean, look, those kind of guys, they're not normal. Those aren't the normal human beings. And what he has done, he has, and I've been around some great defensive linemen in my 31-year coaching career in this league, and he is everything that you would want. And he's emerged as a real leader on this football team, and just in the things that he can do, inside, as they said, you guys saw it there in the Southeastern Conference. He is when he's going, he's a beast.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So, tell me a formula for a Titans victory on Saturday, Coach.
Well, the thing they've got to be able to do is, first of all, I mentioned the explosives. They cannot let the explosive play be something that beats you. And plus, what they've got to do, when they're winning games, the Titans offense is not turning it over. They're able to run the football. When Henry got hurt and we missed him for 8 weeks, the Titans never changed their DNA. They went out and got two backs to take the place of Henry, and they stayed true to their DNA and were very successful running the ball. And off of that comes the play action. Defensively, they've done a really nice job this year, reworking this defense from last year. But now what they have to do is they have to be able to withstand some of the onslaught that this offense is going to bring. And the biggest thing that they have to do, they have to win on first and second down. Because if they can get this offense of the Bengals to third and change, which is 3rd and 7+, then the favor is going to kick in the way of the Titans. So it's going to be a big challenge. It's going to be cold, and the kicking game and field position in playoff games in the National Football League, especially outdoors in weather, always comes into being because they use those K-balls to kick with, and they can get hard like bricks. And so the kickers are going to have to help with field position along with the coverage unit a lot. That has to be in the Titans' favor.
Handful of head coaching vacancies right now in the NFL. How good of a job is the Jacksonville job, you think, Coach?
I think it's a great job. I mean, it's a gre't job. They got cap money. They have, to me, a franchise quarterback. I think it's a really good job. I mean, it really is. To me, I mean, it was an underachieving football team, but they beat the Colts the last game of the season when the Colts had everything to play for, right?
Yeah.
And so they've got people down there. There's not really. I've coached in this league for too long. I've been around it, been in it for 36 years. There's not any 1AA teams on these schedules. Is it a better job than the Raider job? Well, I think the Raiders. To me, and really jobs guys in this league. There's a lot of factors that figure into it, but front office and ownership makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because the league is set up for everybody to be pretty equal. The way that you reverse order draft, as far as to how you finish, everybody's got the same salary cap limitation. So really, your front office and the way they manage it, and plus the health of your football team. To me, look, I interviewed for 3 head coaching jobs in my career, got 2 of them. There's not any bad jobs; they're just what you make them when you get them.
Does it make it all that more remarkable what the Jets have been able to accomplish over the last couple of decades? I'm slightly kidding with you there, Coach.
Well, no. Sometimes you've got to work pretty hard not to be good.
It just now the Giants are picking up right where the Jets left off here lately.
Well, I'm sure there's not a whole lot of happy New York ticket holders in the NFL world in New York right now, and really, as I say, there's a lot of circumstances that are involved with teams not having success, and you can usually trace it back, to one or two things. And so, because everybody has the same chance. Everybody, I mean, it's not like, they say you get so many players here, but you only get this number here, and you get so much money here, but y'all don't get as much over here. Everybody's equal. And so, really, if you don't do good, it's kind of your fault.
So, Coach Vrabel, tell me your impressions of what you've seen out of the way he's building the Titans here over the last handful of years, Coach.
No, they're fantastic. I mean, he's Coach of the Year. I mean, who else, right? I mean, you talk about just start off with 91 different players and being able to keep this team like it is. He and John Robinson both, they work so well hand in hand. And Amy Adams Strunk, since she's taken this thing over, she and Kenneth Adams and Barkley Adams. This is a solid organization. Just back to what I was saying, good organizations usually start at the top with Amy Adams Strunk and Kenneth and Barkley Adams at the top, John Robinson, Mike Vrabel. Guys, this is a solid football place, and we're seeing how a solid football place works right now.
Yeah, Vrabel on that Bill O'Brien coaching tree. He was on that staff there with the Texans, and we've gotten to know B.O.B. pretty good down here in Alabama, Coach.
Well, as I said, I don't know how much of a connection off of a tree it is. I mean, sometimes you just got to stand on your own. And I tell you one thing, Mike Vrabel is well capable of standing on his own. I promise you.
Yeah, there is no doubt that what he has built there in Nashville and playoff atmosphere. Is there a way to describe to folks who've never attended a playoff game what the different atmosphere is from a regular season game to a playoff game, Coach?
When I first got into this league, they told me, I was a really, when Mike Ditka hired me, I was a really young, inexperienced coach, and those veteran coaches on the staff. We only had 8 staff members at the time, and it was a different NFL. And they told me, look, I know these practices and these are seem a little quick to you, but just wait till this preseason starts. Then once the regular season starts, they say, look, now that this is for real, you got to understand it's a little different tempo. But when you get to the playoffs, you're breathing different air. You're inhaling different air in the playoffs. You can just tell it. I mean, you can sense it, and that's why we're all in it. It's a great feeling because the NFL is different than Major League Baseball. It's different than the National Basketball Association. There's no 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 7 in this tournament. It's 1 and 1.
Yeah. We've seen the Titans make it to the AFC Championship game a couple of years ago, and that was a special run off of a special team back there in 19. Do you sense maybe that kind of magic this year?
Well, you know what? I've been doing this too long to try to compare past teams to current teams. I promise you. That's I leave that to all the gurus out there. I'm not a guru. I'm just a former coach that does broadcasting. So I don't have any guru prognostications in me. All I know is this football team here has earned everything it has got through some really trying times, and so I think that's going to be able to stand in pretty good stead on Saturday.
Well, Coach, really appreciate the insight, and I know we'll definitely be listening and watching come Saturday, and there's no doubt that it'll be a special atmosphere there at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, then we've got a big pep rally downtown on Friday. That's going to be rocking and rolling here in Nash Vegas. I mean, the game better hurry and get here, or this place is going to explode.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it as always,
Thanks,
sir.
Guys, appreciate it.
As Coach Dave McGinnis, always a wealth of excellent information there from Titans Radio. I mean, if you really look, technically Vrabel is not on the Bill Belichick tree, never coached under Bill Belichick, but obviously played a number of years there in New England. But his first year, 9-7, third in the AFC South, but then the following year, same record, 9-7, but did make it to the AFC Championship game. And now we're talking about back-to-back double-digit win seasons. 2020 was 11-5, a loss to the Ravens in the AFC wildcard game, and now 12-5, the number one overall seed in the playoffs.
I mean, he's a great coach. There's no question. I mean, look what he did with all the players. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. And and he's not. This guy is intense. You can tell his players love him because he's no nonsense. Either you do it or you don't. Excuses are will always change, but what wins will stay the same, and that's what he believes in, and he's not, I guess, cowing down to this or cowing down to that, right? It's all about winning.
Yeah.
That's what he should be. He was a player, so they have mad respect for him. The guy won championships, mad respect for him, and you can tell they play hard for him.
Jeffrey Simmons making a name for himself up there on the NFL, and boy, I can think back to that recruiting.
Well, the disaster at the end, when he got in trouble.
Between Alabama and Mississippi State.
And then, of course, he got suspended.
Yep.
For I guess there was a fight that he was involved in. It didn't look like he had a choice in the matter. But anyway.
No, if you saw the video.
Yeah. But it's good to see him doing so well.
Yeah, it really is. There are certain guys that when you see them doing well, it just kind of makes you feel good about, the hard work paying off. And Jeffrey Simmons, I think, is one of those guys. So that is the latest there. If you'd like to react to that, certainly you can do so on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. The latest NFL odds for this weekend in the divisional round. Kansas City remains a 1.5-point favorite at home over Buffalo. Tampa Bay is now a 3-point home favorite over the Rams. The Green Bay Packers are a 5.5-point home favorite over the San Francisco 49ers. And the Tennessee Titans will start things off on Saturday afternoon. They are a 3.5-point home favorite over the Cincinnati Bengals. And I mentioned it there with Coach. The Joe Burrow love affair is clearly fully in session around the prognosticators out there, but they got to go through a road game in the NFL in the playoffs, and Cincinnati, in the history of the organization, has never won a road playoff game.
Well, it's always the first.
Yep. And Joe Burrow seems to be that special guy to at least get your team in that right situation. I was really nervous about his knee injury last year, but there is no doubt, and no one's talking about that injury that occurred last year, because he is obviously 1,000% healthy.
Well, I don't know if there's such thing as being 1,000% healthy.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, at this time of the year, everybody has bumps and bruises. It does seem that his knee is healed, and he's playing at the faster level that you have to play in the NFL.
Yeah,
getting rid of the ball faster. Having Jamar Chase has changed that team, though. The guy's an unbelievable asset to have, and you heard the coach talk about how, hey, he'll beat you over top, but then he'll beat you on the short passes too.
Yep.
He's just he knows the game, he knows what he's supposed to do, and he's on the same page with the quarterback, and you can tell. And I don't know if he made All-Pro or not, but he should have. He had an incredible year.
Let's squeeze in Mark from Ice Cold Gulf Shores before we take our final timeout. Mark, appreciate you holding, sir, through that interview.
Oh, no problem, guys. Enjoyed the interview. Yeah, it's cold down here. It's about 38. So, Gulf Shores is like, right now. So, anyway, but, hey, Wes, I've been waiting for days to find out who is the Alabama player that basically, left the team and went to Texas and, didn't play real well.
Billingsley?
Jamel Billingsley.
Is that a receiver?
Well,
tight end slash receiver.
Yeah. He's the guy that he dropped a touchdown pass. He fell down once. He's wide open.
Yep.
He didn't block anybody that I saw during the game, but I have to go back and look. I haven't watched the whole total game, but I saw a couple times. I was sick. I didn't want to go in depression. You're going to see all those drops and realize how they should have won the game. That's it. So
yeah, you don't want to go back and watch if you're Alabama. But no, okay. So it's Billingsley. That's a bigger deal. I mean, wow. Well, the reason I called and waited online is this. I think earlier before you got there, Steve was talking about Alabama basketball. Then you got there and you said your team looks like it's going into the dump. Basically, you didn't say that exactly, but didn't look like the right team. But here's the deal. Remember, go back and look. They've lost some games by 1 point, 2 points. Lost to Auburn by 4 and got robbed a little bit at home there. And so the team, it's not like the team's lousy.
No.
So
no.
I just wondered your point. I mean, are they a bubble team type team now?
No, they're in. They're in right now. They're in right now. If you take a look at their quality wins, which includes Gonzaga in the non-conference, I'm telling you.
Just say they're in, and then they lose the rest of them. You're not in.
Well, no, I'm talking right now. If you're a 500 SEC basketball team. And you have the kind of non-conference wins over Houston
but the way they're
and
playing, they
Gonzaga, they'll be in. They'll be in.
The way they're playing now, they won't be a 500 SEC team. That's what I'm saying. I mean, they lost. They've beaten Tennessee. I mean, you could go and say, all the good things you just said. But if they continue to play like they're doing, they won't beat Kentucky. They won't beat Auburn. They play Kentucky twice.
They do.
They won't beat a good team. LSU's a pretty good team, and they were barely beat them last night, and they were out for 2 or 3 of their good guys.
And they were 0 for 15 from beyond the arc in the second half.
Right, but they've been playing like that. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
They haven't been shooting the same.
Does Alabama have anybody out? I haven't been following that carefully, really.
I don't really think they. Rojas has been out, but they're just struggling to play with each other. It looks like to me, and just not playing with the same intensity they played with last year, the whole game.
Defensively, they look different.
They just don't look like it's. They take like they got up by 13, and they coasted for a minute on defense, and then that dude hit 3 or 4 threes in a row, and
yep. Just like that, it was tied at 58.
It's not like they're not playing hard. It's just they just don't look like they're. They just don't look like the same team.
There is some news on the Alabama football front. We'll have that news for you on the other side. Plus, we'll talk to Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Talk Radio for Auburn, Kentucky.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Nothing beats a great burger to celebrate Labor Day weekend. And at Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, we couldn't agree more. And if you haven't tried our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness, then now is your chance to sink your teeth into one of Bad Daddy's award-winning burgers for half price. Our Zone deal this week gets you $50 worth of delicious burgers made with premium Angus beef for just $25. Log on 977ESPN.com beginning Friday morning and get your Bad Daddy Zone deal before they're gone.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
Making a resolution to stop making resolutions? Power move. Going to bed 3 hours before the ball drops? Power move. Switching to crazy fast gig speed internet from WOW? Power move. Get the speeds you need with gig speed internet for just $64.99 a month. Plus, get a year of HBO Max included and $300 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today. Wow. After the promotional period, HBO Max will auto-renew at then prevailing rate. Limited to new customers with auto-pay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Southern Fidelity Mortgage. Think of them as a loan for everyone, offering more products than anyone else and the guaranteed lowest rates and costs in town. Of the 2,000 loans that Southern Fidelity Mortgage has pre-approved over the last 10 years, all but one have closed. That's unprecedented in the banking business. For FHA, VA, rural development, and conventional mortgages, for the best mortgage experience in town, it's Southern Fidelity Mortgage.
Call Southern Fidelity Mortgage Company at 256-656-5936.
I wanna thank you.
Thank you for making us your #1 choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Back here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. The things you learn at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Do you ever think you'd find out about baby Joy Joy?
Baby Joy Joy.
Baby Joy Joy?
No.
So, what is this young man's name over here to our left?
George Roberts, yeah.
George is all in on some baby Joy Joy.
He is something else.
There is no doubt about that. Anyway, some news regarding the Crimson Tide. So Nick Saban was looking to upgrade in the recruiting position. And you could dare say that he accomplished that with his new defensive backs coach. And Tavarius Robinson, in Alabama, expected to hire the Miami defensive backs coach as a defensive assistant This, according to The Athletic and 247. What do you think of this move?
Well, I mean, it's Miami's been their place where they've recruited all their receivers almost, from that area. You got Cooper, Ridley, all those guys are all from around there. Jerry Jeudy, and the guy that was recruiting a lot of them is now the head coach at Miami. So you got to do something to kind of counteract that, so you can continue getting players from there. And I think that's what they've done, because it's going to be hard getting players out of Miami, I think, with the Cristobal there.
Yeah.
I mean, in the beginning anyway.
Robinson is from Miami, played at Auburn, of course, but he was at South Carolina briefly as well, and a number of stops. Has also coached at Auburn, Florida, and Texas Tech, and is now on his way to Tuscaloosa. We'll talk more about this story.
So what happened to the defensive back coach?
We'll talk more about this story with Drew DeArmond coming up in hour number 2, as Drew's going to join us over the telephone, as he is still recovering from COVID, but I'm happy to report that he is on the mend and feeling better, but still is in the quarantine part of what he has to do. But he is going to happily join us over the telephone. Also joining us next hour will be Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Talk Radio, as we get ready for a big one coming up on Saturday at high noon on CBS. Had a chance to talk to the Auburn players last night, and Jalen Williams as well as Wendell Green, and they had this. I asked them this question. Guys, congrats on the win. What was the post-game message from Coach moving forward?
Just get ready for a good team on Saturday. We know we got to come out. We got to play good, take care of the ball, and just execute and guard the ball. Same as always. We just want to win and keep getting better.
Yeah, and mostly important, get our rest. We got an early game Saturday.
Got to get that rest. Got to get that rest. Auburn wasn't too terribly taxed last night as they won by over 20, put up a 52-burger on the Georgia Bulldogs last night in the first half. Auburn made 21 buckets in the first half last night, Wes. Georgia made 21 buckets for the entire game.
Georgia's not very good, but Auburn is, so there you go.
It's a lethal combination. Matt Jones going to talk a little Kentucky basketball, as they got a big win last night on the road at Texas A&M.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman, or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Injured in a car accident? Get the help you need. I'm Morris Lilienthal, a personal injury lawyer right here in Huntsville. I've personally helped over 4,000 clients with their injury claims. My firm, Martinson & Beeson, has been helping clients for over 80 years, and we have received over 300 five-star Google reviews. We know that injuries and accidents can be life-changing, and I'm here to help you navigate the entire process. Get in touch with me right now by visiting morristheattorney.com. There's no charge for our meeting. Again, that's morristheattorney.com. I look forward to helping you.
No representation is made. The quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
Hello there. I'm Mark Robinson. Word out of San Francisco is that Niners linebacker Fred Warner and quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo are not among those listed on the injury report for Saturday night's divisional playoff game at Green Bay. And word is defensive end Nick Bosa is close to clearing concussion protocol and thus returning to action. Now, you got to break down this matchup. You look at two superstars, Deebo Samuels of the Niners, Devontae Adams for Green Bay. They're big parts of the comparison coming from Keyshawn Johnson. Can you guess who Keyshawn favors? Here's the answer.
If you watch football, you watch the San Francisco 49ers, and you see what they do with Deebo Samuel is great. Go back and watch the Green Bay Packer game. The first time around in the regular season, they bottled Deebo Samuels up where Devontae Adams still had a Devontae Adams-type football game. And then when you want to look on the defensive side of the ball, whose secondary do you trust the most? I trust the Green Bay Packers secondary over the San Francisco 49ers. Aaron Rodgers is throwing the guy the football. Jimmy Garoppolo is trying to get Deebo Samuels the football.
That's Keyshawn Johnson, co-host of Key, J, and Max weekday mornings here on ESPN Radio. Major League Baseball has said nay to the Tampa Bay Rays' idea of playing half of their home games in Tampa and half in Montreal. Baseball is, though, expanding its robot umpire experiment by adding several AAA teams to the program. And an independent arbitrator rules in favor of former UConn men's basketball coach Kevin Ollie. He claimed he was improperly fired in 2018. UConn must pay Kevin more than $11 million.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Patrick Mahomes is on to something. We saw him last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He torched that secondary. I think he continues to repeat that performance. I'm going with Patrick Mahomes.
This and more, Friday, starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Coming up later on here in hour number 2, we're going to talk with Drew DeArmond. Some news coming out of Tuscaloosa on the football front, but there is plenty of basketball to talk about. Both Auburn and Kentucky winners last night on the hardwood. Kentucky's was a tad bit more challenging than Auburn's, to say the least. As we welcome in Matt Jones, you can follow Matt on Twitter at KY Sports Radio. You can also hear him weekends right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. He is on the high and mighty ESPN Radio. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you fellas down there with probably the best basketball team in the country in your backyard?
It is, they're high octane, to say the least, and they are what impressed me more than anything, Matt, was how they won with their C- game at Ole Miss. You win games like that, you got a special squad.
Yeah, although Ole Miss is awful. I mean, they lost to some terrible teams this year. But I think what's more impressive about Auburn and what I think makes them a difficult matchup for Kentucky is that they've got a little bit of everything on the team, which means it's hard to exploit weaknesses. So, you know, the game I was most impressed that you won was the Alabama game, because I thought Alabama would really give you guys fits, because I thought they would do to you exactly what they did to Gonzaga, which is take Kessler off the floor because there's really nobody for him to guard, and then that would, you know, make Auburn not nearly as powerful. And they did take Kessler off the floor. He didn't play a lot in that game.
Yeah.
And yet they still won. And that, to me, was really impressive because, you know, what worries me on a Kentucky side about the game today, the game Saturday, is that Kentucky's got a great big in Oscar Tshiebwe. He'll be fine against Kessler. I think he's probably even a little better. But then that makes it very difficult to match up with Jabari Smith. It's just Kentucky really struggles when a team has two playable bigs. So I was interested in the Alabama game thinking, okay, maybe Kentucky can do what Alabama did, which is take Kessler off the floor. And they did that, and Auburn still won. So I think that's a really good sign for Auburn going forward.
What did Kentucky's road win at A&M show you last night about the Wildcats, Matt?
Well, I mean, Kentucky played hideous. I mean, every single player on the team played bad.
Yeah, they shot 33% in the first half, I think.
Yeah, and they shot like 13% from three. and they still won. And I think, and this is similar to what happened with Auburn with Ole Miss. I think when you win on the road in your worst game, it does say that you're one of the teams that contend. I think right now there are like 6 or 7 teams that could win the title, and I think Kentucky and Auburn are 2 of them. And that's high praise for me, because usually teams like Auburn I don't put on that list, but I do this year because I think they can score a lot of different ways. And that's why I'm so excited for Saturday. I think Saturday has as much anticipation for an SEC in-season basketball game as I can think of in a long, long time, because I think Kentucky and Auburn are playing as well as anybody in the country. Throw in Gonzaga, and those are the 3 teams probably playing the best in the country.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are going against each other Saturday.
I noticed during Bruce Pearl's press conference, which I happen to be a part of today, that Tennessee-Memphis game was brought up from 2008, and it does kind of have that similar feel of just how the enormity. I remember that was a fairly highly rated watched game there in early February back in 2008.
Yeah, that was a great one, and I think that one had the added benefit of being 2 rivals. And you had the whole Cal and Bruce Pearl. Back then, they hated each other. I still don't think they liked each other, but back then they really hated each other. So I think that probably helped. Cal was very gracious to Bruce when he got in all that trouble with the barbecues and all that.
Yep.
And Cal basically told Kentucky fans, don't make fun of him, and they didn't. And I think Bruce actually appreciated that. But, it's kind of like that. I think the other thing is Auburn, when that arena is rocking, which is not every game, as you know, but when it is, it's the hardest place to play in the SEC. And it's going to be rocking Saturday. So I think, that's one of the things about Kentucky is that they have to play in the best version of every gym they go into. You know what I mean? Like Texas A&M normally gets 3,000 people in their arena, and they had 14,000 last night.
Yeah.
But Auburn, we've gone down there against Auburn teams that weren't very good, and they've still won because of how good that arena can be. And when it's loud, in my opinion, when Auburn's arena is rocking, like it'll be Saturday, it's the 3rd loudest one in the country behind Kansas and Duke. So that's part of why I think Saturday is going to be such a good test for Kentucky.
Flipping back and forth, I've seen just a handful of games for Kentucky, Matt. It really feels like if there is a guy who might be the X factor, I feel it might be a Davion Mintz. How much of do you think he might be the X factor for Kentucky, not just for Saturday's matchup, but maybe potentially for the season?
Well, he's a great 6th man, and the one thing, and you saw this last night, the one thing he does is these environments like Auburn's don't scare him. That's the one thing is he was the best player on last year's team that was terrible. And so he was kind of the go-to guy in situations where Kentucky just didn't have enough to get it done, but he kept them in those games. And they lost a lot of close games last year. They lost them all, but they were in a lot of games, and it was because of him. Well, now on this team, he might be the 5th or 6th best player, but like last night, Kentucky was down 13. Couldn't make a shot. Nobody was doing anything. Mintz came in, scored 5 straight points, and made it a game. That's what he does. But really, the key to beating Auburn and the key to this season is Oscar Tshiebwe has to play well. He did not play great last night. And then the guy for me is Ty Washington. I think he is, Jabari Smith is the most talented freshman, along with Banchero and Holmgren in the country. But Ty has probably produced more than any freshman in the country. He's been amazing this year, and he has to have a big game. In Kentucky's 3 losses, he's played awful in all of them. And he started playing awful last night, and then he had a really good end to the game. He's got to play well Saturday for Kentucky to win.
Wheeler making that transfer from Georgia to Kentucky. How well do you think he is fit in Calipari's system?
I think he's been great. He's, he's a true point guard. He's the kind of dude, Cal doesn't get dudes like him. Cal, normally a point guard for Cal, he wants the big guys that are crazy athletic, that can beat you off the dribble, and the John Walls, etc. De'Aaron Fox. Severe is like an old school point guard, crafty, he's kind of chubby, and he knows angles. He throws it off the backboard and various like old men who sort of know how to play horse. But he's effective, man. I mean, he's a great passer, and on defense he gets all up in people, and I think he's been really good. Now there are games though he's not a great shooter, and so there are games where they have to take him off the floor because the other team just leaves him open and says make it. I have a feeling that's what Bruce Pearl will do. So I think you're going to see a lot of the game Saturday. I bet you he's not even in down the stretch because if I'm Bruce Pearl, I'm going to make him shoot and beat me, and he struggles shooting the ball. Shot well against A&M, but in most games that's been a problem.
Taking a look at this schedule here past Saturday, I realize that non-conference game with Kansas is coming up, but I listen, at least I realize a road game at Alabama coming up on early February, but that this schedule feels fairly favorable down the stretch. You got LSU. Please.
You can't talk. Y'all got the easiest schedule in the history of the SEC. I mean, I don't know. I guess the SEC didn't think Auburn was going to be good.
Yeah.
You don't play anybody. I mean, you play Alabama twice, but basically every other good team you don't have to play twice. I mean, that's why, in all honesty, if Auburn wins Saturday, they're going to win the SEC. I mean, because there's no way to catch up because they're just not going to lose any games. I mean, Auburn will probably drop one or two random games because teams do, but they're not going to lose more than one or two. And so if Kentucky wants any chance to win the SEC, they've got to win Saturday. I mean, you all don't come to Rupp, so, there's a chance not to get it back.
Yep.
I don't know who Bruce – NCAA hates Bruce Pearl, and I understand why, but somebody did him a favor in the scheduling department this year because they've got about the easiest SEC schedule I've ever seen.
On the subject of that, what was your take of Alabama LSU last night? That technical foul for Will Wade certainly did not help out his team in the end.
Well, I mean, Will Wade and Bruce Pearl are both kind of mini scoundrels, but I like Bruce Pearl, and I can't stand Will Wade. I don't know. Like, that dude, he is constantly annoying. I don't know how he has a job, so I thought it was deserved, his technical. Alabama's a weird team to me, man. Like, they can beat anybody in the country, but they can lose to anybody in the country, too.
Yep.
And that's the problem with playing that style. Pitino used to say, when Pitino was at Kentucky, when he first got here, they played like Nate Oates did. Shot threes all the time, ran up and down the court. And then he said, when he started getting really good talent, he said, I got to stop doing that because that leaves you susceptible to getting upset if you're cold. And so in the mid-'90s, he started playing differently. I think Nate Oates is going to have to move that way. He's got good talent, but he's still playing this style that allows the Ionas of the world to beat you. And I think even last night, they should have won that game by a lot. And they just continue. I love Nate Oates as a coach. I think he's really good, but I think he needs to alter a little bit if Bama's going to become a team that can contend.
So let's. How about this? The 500 or one game under 500 team in the SEC to be on the lookout for the most: LSU, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, or Vanderbilt.
I still like Tennessee out of that group just because defense travels, and put aside the Kentucky game where they scored 1 million on them.
Yeah.
Tennessee's defense is pretty good, and that they were number 2 in the country before that game. So defense travels. Even when you play poorly, defense keeps you in, and I think their defense is pretty solid. Arkansas, I thought to start the year was going to be really good. Now that they struggled mightily, but they're starting to come back around. So I like them too. I think LSU is overachieved. I think they'll come back to earth. So I would say for me, it's Tennessee and Arkansas.
Is Texas A&M going to come back down to earth? Their schedule does not get any easier.
I think A&M will upset people. But they just don't have. They're just not good enough offensively, I think, to beat good teams. I mean, again, last night you couldn't. That environment, I was at the game, and that environment was wild. I mean, wild. It was as good an environment as I've seen down there. 14,000 people, record crowd. Kentucky playing terrible, and they couldn't win. And that's why I think they're not really a contender. But I do think that they'll pull off a couple upsets. Do you guys go there for a game?
I've been down to Auburn. I've been down to the Alabama-Houston environment was as good as I've seen in Tuscaloosa in a long time.
Well, I'm just saying that I don't know if Auburn plays a road game there, but if Auburn plays a road game, they could get beat at A&M, but I don't think A&M is a contender. I mean, they haven't really beaten anybody good all year.
Yeah. I'm going to try to answer that question. Did you happen to listen to Will Wade talking with Ron Higgins last night? Did you hear that back and forth?
No. What did he say?
Here you go. Enjoy the following. Here, this is from last night.
This is why your team came back after being 13 down. Obviously, you got the technical. It looked like that was pinned on the backboard. Didn't call it.
You think it looked like that, Ron? You think?
Yeah.
It was pinned on the backboard. It didn't look like it. It was.
And
yeah, I can't imagine why people think he's a jerk. He's just listen. Every so often, a coach comes along that just has a way of grating on my every nerve, and he is certainly it in the SEC right now. And it's funny because there's a lot of Nate Oates and Bruce Pearl in him, but they have Pearl and Oates have some charm, and I think have some like dignity or something that I don't like, respect for the game that I just don't think he has. And he to me is the worst, and I pretty actively root for LSU to lose.
To answer your question, Auburn travels to Missouri. What else? They travel to Georgia. They are at Arkansas. They are at Florida, but they do play Texas A&M, but it is a home game for the Auburn basketball squad.
I mean, that is the easiest schedule. You guys don't have to go to Kentucky. You don't have to go to Tennessee. You don't have to go to LSU. You don't have to go to you don't have to go to A&M. So the only road games you have, I mean, Arkansas is a moderately tough game, but like going to Georgia and Missouri, those are going to be empty arenas. So
yeah.
Very, very fortunate from the schedule makers.
Well, what do you expect on Saturday?
I think Auburn probably wins. I mean, I think the two teams are pretty close. Auburn's probably playing a little bit better than Kentucky, but they're pretty close. But I just think that home court's going to be too much. College basketball, regular season, the home court is crucial. It is very, very difficult for two teams that are evenly matched for one of them to beat the other one on a court if that court is rocking. I think that court's going to be rocking. I think it's going to be a tough game for Kentucky, so I will pick Auburn by 3 or 4 points.
How much has your NFL IQ gone up since being a part of ESPN Radio?
Well, so considering it was 0, it couldn't have gone down. So, I mean, I'm living proof that you don't have to have any knowledge to do this job, because I certainly didn't have any knowledge about the NFL. And they put me on it, and trusted me with it, and I've learned quite a bit. But I've been very blessed. I mean, I've worked with some really good people, Dan Orlovsky and Myron Metcalf and Joe Fortenbaugh and Jeff Schwartz. And those guys have helped guide me through, and I try to add a little entertainment. But I knew, when I say I knew nothing until I started that show.
Any road teams you like this weekend in the NFL?
Not really. I like the Bills. I think the Bills can win in Kansas City. I think the Bengals could win in Tennessee, but I kind of like the Bills. I think the Bills are the most complete team in the NFL, and I think they're playing great. Winning in Kansas City is hard, but if there's a team that's used to crazy environments, it's Buffalo. So I'm going to take the Bills to be my one road team. I think the Tampa Bay wins relatively easily. I think the Green Bay wins relatively easily. The other two games will be pretty close.
Are you heading to Auburn on Saturday, or are you working?
No, I'm in Texas right now, and I'm going to stay here through the weekend. The last time I went to Auburn, I got hit in the back of the head by a can. I don't think they were trying to throw it at me. I think they were trying to throw it at somebody else, but I got hit. I said, you know what, I'm going to take about a 5-year break from going to Auburn. So hopefully we can come in football soon, because now our football team's better than Auburn, which I never thought I would say. So that I need to get down there on campus while that's true. Yeah,
that is an accurate statement, to say the least. By the way, we are a Crimson Tide Sports Network affiliate, just to pass that along.
Well, they come to Lexington not next year, but the year after. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I've actually never been to a Kentucky-Alabama game in Lexington. The last time they came was, good grief.
Yeah, a long time
I don't know. I think it was maybe Stoops' first year, and we got destroyed. So I'm really looking forward to that in 2 years.
Well, we certainly appreciate the time and the breakdown. I'm sure Big Blue Nation is loud and proud, to say the least, up there in the Bluegrass.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt. That is Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio, joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And always opinionated is Matt Jones. Now Auburn, the only team left standing in SEC play, undefeated. They are 6-0. Kentucky 5-1. And that is going to be a special environment down there on the Plains. Let's take our first time out. We've got an open segment for you on the other side as we're live here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus, at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
Our customers trust us not only to find the right hardware, but to advise them on the technology that makes them more efficient.
My Next Level team researches and discovers real solutions. Check-in software, HR, digital signature, and workflow software. It saves you money immediately. We hold your hand and stay with you through the transition.
We're taking our customers to the next level in business process automation.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Army pilot Mike Durant had seen it all. Black Hawk Down, Operation Just Cause. He thought his public service was over, but a new mission was beginning. Mike settled his family in Alabama and started his aviation company in his living room. Put his house up as collateral to the bank. A big bet on an idea. That idea grew steadily. Mike created hundreds of jobs. You know, the opposite of what politicians do. Then COVID hit. Biden's vaccine mandates came calling. Listen to Mike Durant.
Running my defense company here in Alabama, vaccine mandates cost me engineers and people with top-level security clearances.
And Mike Durant is fighting back.
No vaccine mandates, no more scare tactics on the China virus, and no more career politicians.
A businessman like President Trump. Republican Mike Durant for U.S. Senate.
I'm Mike Durant, a candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Durant for Senate.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Back here with you at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. If you'd like to sneak into the program, I realize we've been kind of guest heavy today, but a segment open for you for about 5 to 8 minutes here before we welcome in Drew DeArmond in his normal Final 30 segment. Incidentally, in case you're keeping score at home, how do you spell Shibwe? For Oscar Shibwe, the big man there for the Kentucky Big Blue Nation. Shibwe is spelled Tshiebwe. Oscar Shibwe. And he hails from the Dominican Republic and is the real deal. But then again, there are several Auburn players you could add on to that list being the real deal as well. There for Bruce Pearl. Had a chance to talk to Coach Pearl today in his back and forth with the media. Here is the Auburn head men's basketball coach. Today, I can't help but ask, with as big of a game that this is on Saturday, how much does a regular season game with this type of atmosphere help you to get you ready for March?
I mean, it'll help because this will be our most challenging opponent. This will be the best team that we played. When we played LSU, they were down one of their better players. But this will be the best team we played, Kentucky. So that'll ultimately be the kind of teams that you're playing come NCAA tournament time. And so from that standpoint, it's good preparation. But this one is more about playing for championships because there is a regular season championship at stake, and the outcome of this game will have something to say about it.
I realize back in the first hour, I played a little bit of Nate Oates, and he did talk about putting Javon Quinterly on the bench, and it was not his idea. It was the Villanova transfers idea.
He came to see me. I mean, we hadn't been playing well as a team. We individual players hadn't been playing well. I had meetings with everybody in rotation and some other guys that weren't in the rotation between last game and this one. And when he came to see me, I basically said, what can I do to help you? I felt bad. I think he's been trying to play hard. He's been trying to play the right way. He's been giving us great effort. And he said he talked to his parents and talked about it and brought it up. Like, maybe we go back, because I said he may have been the best guard in the country last year for a stretch there at the end of the year. I mean, he was cooking. He got tournament MVP. When he did all that coming off the bench. So some guys are more well suited to come off the bench. Maybe there's a little less pressure, they could see how the game goes. And we had, I think, 3-time Sixth Man of the Year up at Buffalo when I coached up there. We brought one of our best players, if not our best player, off the bench up there. So, there's either he's going against their starting point guard that's a little fatigued, or he's going against their backup point guard if he comes off the bench. He brought it up to me. He played well. Let's go ahead and do it. I thought, let's try to get him going. Thought maybe it'd help JD get some confidence, put him, maybe give them both a little boost. And thought he played well off the bench. Thought he came in and made some really good plays, great decisions. He looked better tonight. So JD's back's been bothering him. We got to get him playing a little bit better. But I mean, Quinley didn't shoot it great from three, but he was better than him. Thought he played better, more explosive, getting the ball downhill against their switches. I thought he looked a lot better tonight.
He was 2 of 7 from beyond the arc, was Javon Quinterly.
Well, I mean, yeah, he has not shot the ball well, but it's a better percentage than he was. He was right under 25% for the year, which he was almost, he was 40-something last year, I think.
50, right at 50%.
Yeah.
So maybe just a tad above what you would expect out of your point guard.
Yeah, but it's just one
coming
game
off the bench.
Yeah. He, I don't know. I just think the whole team's struggling. Just like the coach says, he sees it.
Alabama at home to Missouri on Saturday.
They got to beat Missouri. They shouldn't have lost the first time. Missouri's not a great football team.
Then at Georgia, I mean, you get those two. Your 2 games north of 500. The Big 12 SEC Challenge game sneaks in there. And then February 1st, a road game at Auburn. You follow that up with a home game against Kentucky. So that first week of February, if you take care of your business against Missouri and Georgia, all of a sudden that first week in February looks
you're playing
like a swing week.
You're playing 3 top 10 teams in 1 week.
Yeah.
So, be interesting to see how they do. Sometimes they lift up to the challenge. They played Auburn tough the first game.
They certainly did.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're capable, but it's hard just to turn it on all of a sudden. And that's what you got to worry about with this team is, I don't like the trajectory right now. And they need to do something to turn it around, figure out, get a little confidence. I mean, their shooting is what obviously pulls them down. But, it wasn't just the shooting last night. It was the free throw shooting also.
Yep.
It was the turnovers. I mean, they could just dribble the ball out, get fouled, and the game's over, and they fumbled it away. I mean, there was so many things that happened. You're like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, it looked like a different coach team to me than what we've been seeing with Nate Oates the last couple of years.
As a team, they're shooting 31% from beyond the arc. That's a tad low.
It's low for them. I mean, it's not. That's not horrible though.
At the free throw line, 70%,
which is down big from last year.
And field goal percentage-wise, they're at 44.9%,
which is low.
That is through 18 games.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, when they were on their highs, especially early on, with especially the win over Miami, the win over Gonzaga, the win over Houston, but then they stumbled in 2 games with Memphis and Davison. And Davison was that sub-in for, goodness, I can't think of the team that had to bow out because of COVID reasons. But Davison came in and beats Alabama down in Birmingham 79-78.
To me, they haven't been the same since the Memphis game. But they're anyway.
That confidence that they had coming off the Houston game.
Yeah.
That Houston game that I went down and covered, it felt like they were just going to find a way. And they did.
Well, no. Well, that was a home game, too. So
yeah, that was an electric atmosphere.
Yes.
There in Tuscaloosa. Let's take our final time out. Drew DeArmond set to join us on the other side. We'll be back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey man, this is John Deese, pastor of Cross Point Church. Hey, whether your own marriage is like 1st and goal on the 1-yard line or you're sitting at 2nd and 26, there's things that can be learned which will help us grow in our marriages and grow closer to God and to each other and to finish the game well. So if you are married, single, or single again, our new marriage series, I Do, Building Our Marriage, is for you. Join us this Sunday at Cross Point Church at 9 o'clock or 10:30, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, or check us out at cpcfamily.org.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet and Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet and Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet and Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that. Chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at baddaddysburgerbar.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A bitterly cold afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. It does look like we should see a couple of peaks of sunshine, but temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 30s. Unfortunately, we're going to maintain a north wind 15 to 20 miles per hour. That means wind chills are going to be in the low and mid 20s. Temperatures dropping into the lower 20s as we head into the overnight, early into your Friday morning. The Friday morning commute will come with wind chills in the upper single digits. Temperatures only climb once again into the mid and upper 30s through Friday afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is the only place for Drew DeArmond, Wes Neighbors, and of course, Tom Abraham.
I never met him, but I hear that he's a man of character.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world. Closing time. Turn all of the lights on over every boy and every girl.
If you missed any portion of today's program, we talked some Titans football with Dave McGinnis, as well as talk a little Auburn, Kentucky from Kentucky Sports Talk Radio with Matt Jones. You can also hear him on ESPN Radio on the weekends in his NFL coverage. Also, we started things off with Philip Love from Eagle Insulation. Anytime that weather goes down or up, I immediately think about saving you money out there. That's the kind of program we want to be, and we're thinking about you.
The average return 6 months, and after that, you're saving money.
Yep. So insulate with eagle.com, the number there. But we end our program. We usually have him here with us, but he is quarantined at the moment. But Environmental Comfort Systems proudly brings you our final 30 segment with Drew DeArmond, who joins us right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. How are you feeling, Drew DeArmond?
Much better, guys. Appreciate it. Looking forward to being cut loose here soon, but just doing what you're supposed to do during these times and these protocols. But feeling a lot better. Hadn't had any symptoms in several days, so appreciate everybody with their thoughts and the prayers and everything. But I should be back raring to go on Monday.
Excellent. Let's, I guess, let's start with the news out of Tuscaloosa. The football program making some changes. What's the latest you're hearing, Drew?
Well, as you said, as you see yesterday, Coleman Hutzler from Ole Miss, the special teams coordinator, linebackers coach, he's coming to Alabama. As of right now, he put on his Twitter account, special teams coordinator and outside linebackers coach. That's interesting because of the Sal Sunseri, dynamic. From what we've been hearing for the last several weeks and couple of months is that Coach Sal could easily move into an off-field role like that of Burton Burns and move off the field, but nothing has been announced. He's been out recruiting, but he is 62 years old, and he may want to move into another phase of his career. We'll see. Certainly he's an outstanding coach and recruiter and did a great job with Will Anderson and of course, as you know, the freshman All-American, the true frosh, Dallas Turner on the other side. So we'll see. But he's been added to the staff, and obviously Travarius Robinson. T-Rob was the secondary coach for Miami this past year. He's coming in to take Jay Valai's spot, who went on to Oklahoma. But I think it's two really good additions to the staff. May not be done. We'll see what happens with the NFL and Bill O'Brien and Doug Marrone. So, as usual, Nick Saban's not going to come back with the same staff, but it's chess, not checkers with Coach, and he's usually a step or two ahead of everybody. So a couple of interesting additions nonetheless, and Hutzler is known as a great special teams coach, and certainly Alabama had some deficiencies there this year. I didn't think it was horrific, but certainly they need to improve in special teams, and I'm sure that with his addition, that'll be the case.
Well, they had several plays in their two losses, though, that were special teams were pivotal in the game.
Right.
And, really had a lot to do with losing both games. But, Drew, Ole Miss, real quick. Let's touch on Ole Miss. They lost all three coordinators, and they lost who would you consider Lane's best friend, and Wilson Love left him and went to Oregon. what's going on in after what arguably is the best season in 50 years or 60 years? What's going on there?
Yeah, well, I guess you could say that Lane hired some good assistants that were wanted by other schools, but they didn't want to stay at Ole Miss. I think it says more about how Ole Miss is viewed as a program. It's not viewed as a championship program. I don't mean to disrespect Ole Miss, but if you look at their history, A&M and Ole Miss are, I think, the only two teams in the SEC West to never play for an SEC title. And of course, Hugh Freeze had some success at Ole Miss. We certainly understand why. He's an outstanding coach, and there's also quite a payroll there for one time or another before NIL. And they did go to a Sugar Bowl, and they won it. This year, Lane gets back there, but they lose Matt Corral, which I think really cost them the Sugar Bowl. I felt bad for them losing a quarterback of that caliber who is going to be a first-round draft pick. But, yeah, it should be a little concerning. I mean, obviously he hired a really good staff, but he's lost all three coordinators, and a couple of them went to SEC schools in his own division. When you think about Hutzler going to Alabama and DJ Durkin going to Texas A&M, so it's tough. Jeff Lebby went to Oklahoma, and they'll be in the league eventually. But that was tough for him to turn down, $2 million a year and back to his alma mater. So, but that's just part of it. I mean, Nick Saban loses coaches all the time when they try to poach them, especially when they get head coaching opportunities. Lane Kiffin is now going to learn that when you get a program like Ole Miss to a Big Six bowl, a lot of times people are going to aggressively court your personnel. That's what they did, and now Ole Miss is going to have to completely rebuild their team. Interesting that Charlie Weiss Jr. becomes the OC. He's highly thought of. Everybody knows his father, Charlie Weiss Sr., had quite a coaching career. And, of course, Charlie Weiss Jr. one time was at Alabama. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Ole Miss program retools. And if they get Dart, the transfer quarterback from Southern Cal, that could really change the thought and outlook maybe for their offense heading into year 3 for Lane.
Well, and Charlie Weiss Jr. was a coordinator at the last year when Kiffin was at FAU too, when they won the conference. So, in fact, I think he was with them the whole time he was at FAU, and then became the coordinator the last year. So, I mean, I think that was a good hire by Lane because Charlie knows what he wants to do, this or that, and what he's capable of. And I think he's a really good coach. Charlie Weiss Jr. is going to be a great coach coming up. So let's go up. What other changes do you see for this staff? Drew, is this more like a recruiting move, you think, for these guys, or just upgrading in you think it's upgrading special teams? But why is Coach making these changes? Recruiting?
I think that's a big part of it. I think Travarius Robinson is considered a very good teacher in the secondary, but he's also considered an elite recruiter. And as you know, Wes, he's a Miami native. He did play at Auburn, but he's got extensive ties to the state of Florida. He's coached at Florida. He's also coached at South Carolina. He helped develop J.C. Horn into a first-round pick at South Carolina. He had been recruiting very well at Miami, and Alabama wants to continue to have a presence there. It's going to be harder with Mario Cristobal and his proven track record as a closer, but Alabama can still pluck some players from out of there, and I think they wanted to continue to have a presence. And I think Hutzler is considered a really good recruiter as well. He recruited some 5-star guys even to South Carolina. So I do think recruiting had a lot to do with it. I'm not sure that this was one of the stronger recruiting staffs this past year under Coach Saban at a couple of spots on the staff as a whole. So I think he wanted to increase it a little bit and their presence. Plus, the in-state class in 2023 might be the greatest that we've ever seen and the deepest, and even better than the 2008 group that kind of reestablished Alabama football. So I know Coach Saban wants to take advantage of that and load up and try to have the number 1 class in the country because they only finished number 2 this year. So I'm sure that disappointed some people. But and certainly they're not done in the transfer portal. They've added Elijah Ricks. They've added Jahmyr Gibbs. I still think they're going to be selective. And people heard yesterday that the young man from Georgia went into the portal. He's a wide receiver that Alabama might be interested in. I know they recruited him when he came out of the state of California, so we'll see if that's the case. I know there was a report that Alabama was maybe of interest to the young man. I don't know if that's going to be reciprocated, how much it is as of yet, because Alabama still has to take a look at their numbers. And just before I joined you guys about 30 minutes ago, I know you'll be happy with this, Wes, but it looks like Jalen Moody is going to take his name out of the portal and stay at Alabama. A lot of that probably has to do with Christian Harris moving on to the NFL, and now, with Deontay Lawson, who looked so impressive as a freshman last spring, and with Moody coming back and all his experience, those two guys will probably fight it out at will linebacker to potentially replace a guy like Christian Harris next to Henry Pelatoa.
Now, Moody, he's 30, isn't he?
I did want to say Jermaine Burton is the wide receiver from Georgia that put his name in the transfer portal.
Yes, that's correct. Jermaine Burton he had 8 touchdowns the last 2 years for Georgia. He had one against Alabama in the 2020 game in Tuscaloosa. He got a little banged up this year, but Burton's a really good player. He would probably be a good replacement for John Mechie and get some experience right now to that wide receiver room, because all the experience is gone. John Mechie's going to the NFL. We know Jamison Williams is. Clay Bolden has left. So, they don't have a lot of experience. I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama, if they could find 2 good fits with some experience, one being a speed guy, one being a guy like Jermaine Burton, that Alabama might add 2. So we'll see. I don't know how hard they're going to push for Burton. I think Burton's also going to look at LSU. He's going to look at Texas A&M. His position coach just went to LSU, so we'll see. But I think that definitely Jermaine Burton will probably be somebody that may have some interest, from Alabama. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think he's a big play guy like Jamison Williams, but I still think he could be a very productive player.
Is Alabama looking at anybody similar to Jamison Williams, a guy that can take the top off the defense?
Well, that's interesting, Wes, because there's been some talk about Keyshawn Butte, but is he going to stay at LSU? Sonny Shipp told me from Go 24/7 a couple weeks ago that he was locked in through the spring, and said that because he tweeted he was locked in. Then of course I know he got an NIL deal, but again, those can be subjective. I think he's going to take a look and see where the quarterback position is, at LSU through the spring, how the offense looks, what Brian Kelly's doing. And, if he's satisfied, then he'll stay at LSU. If he's not, then I think, certainly Alabama would be a place he would be interested in. So we'll see. I mean, people have to remember that Jamison Williams didn't go into the portal until after the spring last year, and then the interest with Alabama was renewed, and they took him. So Jermaine Burton is really the first one, the first domino that we've seen where you've immediately heard that since he's officially in the portal that Alabama might be interested in. But again, that's the beauty of it. Alabama can wait until after the spring, see where their numbers are, because I've been kind of trying to count it up. And if Moody is coming back, I know you were saying he was 30 years old. At least I thought that's what you were referring to. He's been there quite a while. But I think right now that would mean Alabama, since the national championship game, had lost. I had counted up 22. Now that would mean 21, and they signed 23 in the early signing period. So I think they're still above the 85 number. They're probably still going to have some attrition, and they're probably still going to have some attrition in order to add 2 or 3 more pieces out of the portal. So we'll just have to wait and see. But so far, it's an interesting dynamic following the roster movement.
And this year, all the 6-year guys and extra scholarships goes away. So there's a lot of decisions that these teams have to make.
Right, there really is. And we've already seen guys like Tommy Brown. He landed at Colorado on the West Coast. So you're seeing guys from Alabama, Drew Sanders, landing within the league at Arkansas. You're seeing these guys find places to go. So certainly their talents are still, that they're guys that are wanted. And you hope that with the decisions that they're making that they're all going to get to play. And this is just going to become part of football. I mean, these guys want to play. It's hard to keep the quality depth in your program. And It's probably going to lead to some changes from the standpoint Nick Saban's probably going to have to play more guys to get more guys experience because guys move on. But still, I mean, I think Alabama likes where it sits right now. I think their rosters, they haven't lost anyone of consequence except for Drew Sanders, in my opinion, though you have lost some quality depth. But certainly Alabama is going to continue to recruit. I don't think there's any question about that. They're going to continue to mine the transfer portal, and it's a smart thing to do. It's what you have to do. It's why Nick Saban's the best there is. They're going to bring in an official visitor this weekend, Danny Lewis, a tight end, because they lost Jaleel Skinner to Miami unexpectedly. He's a guy from New Iberia, Louisiana, Westgate High School. He's 6'3", about 240. He decommitted from Cincinnati just about a week ago, and so he's been, very popular. Florida, LSU, Alabama have offered. So they're going to take a long look at him this weekend and decide maybe that they might add a piece out of the high school ranks coming up in a couple weeks in February. But again, the transfer portal is probably where most of the action is going to occur.
Talking with Drew DeArmond right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. At least one football, basketball tie-in. Kool-Aid not on the roster there for Nate Oates. Do you anticipate Kool-Aid being a one-sport guy now moving forward?
Well, neither he or Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold, a defensive back, was really thought to be the better basketball player of the two. Nate Oates has not heard from either guy, and I wouldn't expect him to. It's very difficult to play two sports at a place like Alabama, especially if you're a Kool-Aid McKinstry trying to lock down a corner spot to be a starter next year. Terrion Arnold trying to continue to climb up the depth chart. He's an outstanding athlete. I think he will be a future starter in that secondary for the University of Alabama, so that's going to be difficult. And then Alabama bringing in a star-studded five-man recruiting class next year. They did survive yesterday against LSU. They tried everything they could to give it away, but they found a way to make just enough plays to hold on to beat a really solid LSU team. Now they need to bounce back against Toby Brown and Missouri this weekend. They need to get 2 straight conference wins. And it was interesting to see Javon Quinterly switch back to 6-man. I think that was a good move. I think it's something that he basically just really thrived at last year. And it gives J.D. Davison a chance to get starter minutes and hopefully gain some confidence. It's going to be interesting to see if that continues. And it looks like Alabama dodged a bullet, so to speak, as once again they had an injury yesterday with Juwan Gary. He had a facial contusion. Sounds like he's going to be okay, though. They need him back in the lineup because he wasn't able to give them many minutes last night. And with the loss of Darius Days, that kind of canceled out a couple of matchups in that game with LSU. But it was a good win for Alabama. Any W was badly needed, and hopefully they can get going and get another win at home on Saturday against Quanzo Martin's Missouri Tigers, who everybody thought weren't sure they're going to win another SEC game. They go to Ole Miss and win by nearly 30, so Alabama's going to have to be ready to play.
Drew, kind of switching back to football, Malachi Moore, do you think, is he going to be able to play obviously he was hurt nobody talks about that either. His injury was key at the end of the year. The guy was playing awesome at the first of the year.
Only got about a minute left here, Drew.
Yeah, well, I think injuries have played a part with Malachi. Hopefully he can get healthy in this offseason. He's played a ton of football for Alabama. He was a magnet for the ball as a freshman All-American. This year he didn't make it. He had a chance to make some plays early. Didn't do it. Didn't have the same kind of impact. And then we all saw what happened, with that competition at the star spot. And what happened with Brian Branch. But I still think Malachi can be a key part of the secondary. There's a lot of experience coming back, and I think it's going to be a veteran defense. 9 of the 11 starters scheduled to come back for Alabama. They got to replace Phil Mathis, and they got to replace Christian Harris. But it should be a great stop unit at Alabama if the right pieces step up.
Thank you, Drew. Glad you're feeling better, partner, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Monday.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
That is Drew DeArmond. Our Final 30 brought to you by Environmental Comfort Systems. You can check them out online at envcomfort.com. Also, a big thank you to Baumhauer's Victory Grill for hosting us each and every Thursday. Good night, everybody.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
In my life, I've never had a phone call like that. Getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit is another reason banking with Capital One is one of the easiest decisions in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One, N.A., member FDIC. And we have actually made it to the final hour. Yes, thank you. Welcome to the show if you're just getting off work or just joining us. And back to the calls we go, and I-Man is next.
Live from the capital city. How you doing, Paul?
Hey there.
I see that the advocate for the socially dysfunctional has come in and made a case today. And then, Jeff, I mean, you are on the phone. It's not like you're having to holler from Ohio to Charlotte. I mean, use the phone. And was that a Jim call or was that a Jeff call? Because it certainly sounded like a Jim call.
Well, you ever remember when you were younger, you would sponsor somebody maybe to go to camp or that call
right.
that call was underwritten by the "Please save the fading career of Jim, formerly known as Page 54."
Yeah, page 54. And you know what's the problem with page 54? Page 55.
Yes, indeed.
you know, and for Jeff to throw me in the group with Squirrel, I take that as an honor. Squirrel is his own human being, his own man. He makes his own calls. He ridicules me sometimes. He doesn't stand up and protect me. He doesn't come in to try to save my feelings or anything. He is an independent person having his own telephone call, unlike that call that Jeff just had.
And you know something? I have met Squirrel many times. I'd say 4 or 5 times. I've met you dozens of times. The other two never seem to be anywhere near when we are in the community.
When it's convenient for them. Kind of like the Legend call the other day. When Legend's down and out, and he's done this over the years, he brings up his murder conviction, and I called him out on this 8-9 years ago about dragging that dead boy around. And Legend makes everything about him, and it's all warm and fuzzy, and look what I've come through, and look what I've done for myself. I'm pleading to the masses. And he gets down on his hands and knees, and he begs in the most pathetic way that we see some of these TV evangelists.
I mean, hold on one second. I mean, you would have to agree, would you not, that a guy that went to jail for murder is not a normal, everyday sports call-in caller. I mean, that he has a unique story to tell.
You know what, Paul? I've known a lot of people who've gone to prison, and some for the same situations, kind of involving the death of another person.
Okay.
And not one of them acts like Legend. Legend drags that dead guy around. He's never apologized to the family. He won't even say that man's name on the air. Well, that guy would have had a wife. He would have had children.
You're forcing me to be the defense attorney for Legend. I know the circumstances that led Legend to kill another man. And there were some mitigating circumstances which created.
Of course, there always
he just
are.
did not walk into a bar, pull out a handgun, put it up against somebody's temple, and blow the guy away. There was
no. You don't have to take up for him, Paul.
I'm not listening. You have now put me in position of defending somebody who went to jail for murder. That's not really where I wanted to go. I'm just trying to give. I have heard Legend's version of this story, and it would probably serve you.
You heard Legend's. You've heard Legend's version. Is that correct?
I mean, with all due respect, it's kind of hard to get the other guy's version.
No. You've heard Legend's version. And I'm sure there's a little bit more to it than Legend's version. I mean, we're talking about a guy that could have had a wife, kids, grandkids by now.
Yeah,
and Legend is all about himself, and he's all about positioning himself to the right time in his time of need, as opposed to just picking himself up like everybody else has to and go on about the business. The biggest problem I have with this whole thing with Legend, he uses your show for a fraud format, and that pisses me off because this show does so much for so many other people, and they've called in and given testimonies what this show has done for them. And he uses this format for his own personal, selfish, convoluted needs, and they're fraudulent. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ahmed. Sometimes you really can't